Hello and welcome. I'm Stephanie from Kalpita Yoga and I'll be guiding you through this short practice today. Today we are going to explore taking our yoga practice out of some of the linear, more traditional type movements and into some more cyclical type movements, really starting to embody that more feminine approach to yoga, helping us to feel more connected to our bodies and to help us feel better and healthier in our bodies, because in day-to-day life we're not always just moving in a linear direction. We're often moving to the side, off to a 45-degree angle or some other angle other than just straight in one line. So when you're ready, let's get started. Today the props that you'll need is a yoga mat or some space that's comfortable for you to move on. And if you'd like, you may like to have some blocks, but it's not necessary to be able to complete today's practice that you have blocks. We're going to start over in all fours. So I'm going to start knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders. Spread the fingers wide and take the ground with your hands so that we protect the wrists. And we're going to start with some cat-cow. So inhale, open the chest forward, belly melts down. Exhale, round in, chin to chest, press the ground away. Inhale to come forward, belly melts down, shoulders draw back. And exhale, round in, chin to chest, pressing the ground away. And keep moving with this movement forwards and back through this flexion and extension of the spine. You can probably feel how we're really just moving in one direction here, one straight direction. And so let's start to move this out of this linear. So we're going to turn the fingertips out to the sides. This is to help warm up the wrists, and just start to move some circles with the shoulders. You can either stay on the knees, or if you'd like to tuck the toes and work up onto the tippy toes, you can. I'm going to stay on my knees today. And then circling the opposite way. So this is a really great way to start warming up the wrists, preparing them for our practice today, keeping them nice and healthy. And come to stillness. And then we're going to turn over to our left side. So look over your left shoulder and then allow your left hip to guide towards your nose. And then back to center, and then over to the right side. And back to center, over to the left. Back to center, over to the right. And just one more time each way. Getting this motion through the hips, and then come back to center. And then we're going to take some body rolls. So we're going to be moving through our cow pose into our side stretch, into our flexion of the spine, cat, and then into our side stretch again to the right side and back to center. So we start to move the spine in these circles, moving the whole torso through lateral flexion, extension, and flexion of the spine, but not just solely one in one time, just moving through them. And then moving the opposite way. Breathing, feeling into your body. How does this feel through your spine? And then come to stillness. And we're going to walk the hands a little bit more forward, maybe a little out to the sides. And then take the knees out to the sides a little bit as well. And then start to move the hips into some circles. And so first of all, this might feel a little bit rigid. And see if you can let any tension or feeling of being watched or not doing it right go, and just feel into your hips. Let that feeling of being strict with the body's movements be free, and start to encourage more sensual kind of feeling through the spine. And then then circling the opposite way. And you could almost, sometimes I like to call these juicy circles. So really evoking that juiciness within you. And a couple more times around. And then we'll come to stillness. And we're going to take the left leg out to the left side. So outside edge of the foot grounds down. And then little cow pose with the back so the tailbone lifts. And keeping that lift of the tailbone, start to move the hips back and forward a few times. And then as you do this, start to walk the hands over to the left so that you stretch through the right side of your body here. And then allow the forehead to melt down. Take a full breath in and a steady breath out. And coming back to center. And we're going to thread the needle here. So we're going to take the left arm out to the side and up. And then exhale, reach over to your right side. Bring the shoulder down to the ground. So this might not be accessible for you. My shoulder doesn't quite reach the ground. But it's more about the movement through the spine. And then coming back up. We're going to take the foot out to 45 degrees now. So might be off the mat. Ooh. And we're going to start to move some circles. This might not feel particularly like really beautiful, perfect, even circles. And it's not about being perfect or even. It's about just feeling into our hips and taking this movement a little bit more cyclical. It might be a little bit more of an oval than a circle. That's fine. Let's circle the other way. And then if you find that there's any juicy spots, any spots that feel really good, maybe slow down to work around there. And then coming to stillness, and then you can bring the foot a little bit closer. And then we're going to straighten out through the front leg. And this is where you might like to use your blocks to bring you just a little bit higher through the chest. And then just moving the hips side to side, left to right. It's like gets into each of the different hamstrings here. You can kind of feel as you move side to side how that stretch changes. And then coming forward, you can move the blocks out to the side, and we're going to turn the right foot out to the right side and step the left foot back. Just reposition your right knee so it's right underneath the hip, and then press the right hip forward and then lift the left arm up. You're going to turn the palm to the space above the head and then reach over the head. So the palm is looking down to the ground, and then the outside edge of the left foot grounds down here. So we get this length through the whole side, your whole left side. Take a full breath in and a steady breath out. Inhale, lift the arm up, bring the weight into the right hand a little, lift the left leg. Good. Bend the left knee, take the foot and press the foot behind you, opening up through the hips a little here. And then slowly releasing. We're going to do these movements again on the opposite side. So you won't need to move around, but I'm going to move around so that there's enough space for me to demonstrate. And we're going to take the right leg out to the right side. So outside edge of the foot grounds down. And we start with tilting the tailbone up towards the sky, and then hips move back towards the heel and forward. So it might be that this movement's really small for you, but you're getting this beautiful stretch through the inner thigh. I'm definitely getting a stretch here. And this is enough for you. You don't have to reach all the way back to your heel. And start walking the hands over to the right. And then letting the forehead melt down to the ground. Sitting the hips back. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, coming back up. And then coming back to center. And then we're going to be reaching the right arm up towards the sky, opening up the chest. And then exhale, threading through, bringing your right shoulder down to the ground, right ear. And then coming back up, releasing, hands down to the ground. And let's bring the foot out to a 45 degree. And then working some circles here. Working a couple of times one way. And then circling back the other way. I'm just feeling into the hips if there's any juicy spots that are feeling really good here. Stay a little longer. Move a little slower. And then coming to stillness and walking the foot up towards the right hand, and then shifting the hips back, working into our half splits. You might like to use your blocks again underneath your hands for a little bit more height. A little movement of the hips side to side. Feeling in each of these hamstring muscles and how it changes as you move. And then coming back forward, bring the left hand down, left foot out to the left side, step the right foot out, and bring the left knee right underneath the hip. Press the hip forward, and then outside edge of the right foot grounds down, right arm lifts. Turn the palm above the head, and then reaching over, getting that full lengthening through the right side of the body. Maybe closing down the eyes and just feeling in. Reaching the arm up above the head, and then we're going to lift the ankle, bend the knee, take the foot. Press the hips forward as you press the foot back behind you. Opening the chest, opening the hips, and then releasing. So now we're going to do a little bit of stabilizing through the hips. We've done some releasing and movement through the hips. So these next few poses are still going to be out of our traditional linear movements. However, they're going to be helping stabilize the pelvis and create strength through the spine, even through movement. So come to lay down on your side, and you're going to bring your elbow underneath your shoulders and bring the hips, knees and shoulders in line with each other. Hand on the hip. If you need a little bit more support, hand on the ground. And from here, we press to the forearm, lift the hips up, maybe lift the arm up. From here, see if you can reach over the head and then lift the hips up. Good. Inhale up and exhale, thread through. So you're going to reach back behind you. Inhale back up. Exhale over the head. Inhale up. Exhale, threading through. Inhale up over the head. Inhale up. Thread through. Let's do that one more time. Lifting up and over and back up, threading through and back to center, and hips come down. Let's swing around onto the opposite side. So this time our right elbow will be underneath. We'll move the knees so they're back in line with the hips and the shoulders. We'll move the elbow so it's stacked right underneath the shoulder. And most people want to do this, but you won't have a lot of strength out there. So make sure that that elbow's right underneath, and it will help you to stabilize the shoulder. And then from here, hand can be in front of you or on your hips to lift up. Nice. And then I can feel my elbows just that little bit out. So I'm going to reposition that. That feels better. And then reaching over the head. Inhale up. Exhale, thread through. Inhale back to center. Over the head, lift the hips. Back up and thread through. Inhale back up. Over the head. Back to center, thread through. One more time, over the head and back to center and thread through and back to center. Let the hips come down, nice. And so we're going to be moving on to our backs from here. I think you've deserved it. All right, so moving the hips back to center, and let's bring the knees in towards the belly. Taking a little rock side to side, feeling into the lower back. And then we're going to move the knees into some circles, so you might take them together one way. This is a really nice massage on my lower back, on my sacrum, the lower part of the spine. And then moving the other way. Some nice circles here. Helping the energy start to ground. And coming to stillness. And just hugging the knees in. Nice big loving hug for your body, all it's capable of. And then when you're ready, we're going to release into your Shavasana. So Shavasana, it's really up to you what feels good. You might like to use a bolster underneath the knees. If you've got one, you can use a pillow instead. Maybe the legs are out long, arms beside the body. Just taking a full deep breath in through the nose. On the exhale, closing down the eyes, letting it out the mouth. Continue a few more rounds of this breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel free to stay reclined in your Shavasana as long as you need today, allowing the intelligence of this practice just to settle into the subconscious body. And thank you for joining me. From my heart to yours, namaste.